Greetings Exiles, I'm Gav. Welcome to my new series where I plan to scroll through the top Reddit posts every week on the Path of Exile 2 subreddit so that you don't have to. While Reddit can be a bit of an echo chamber or a pit of negativity at times, I absolutely love the memes that are made, and my hope is that this series will be a solid vibe check for the state of Path of Exile 2 and the community sentiment towards it every week. This week's recap is very heavy on the memes. There's the debate of whether or not building a glass cannon character to trivialize bosses and content should be a thing. Lots of complaints prior to the overview for patch 0.1.1 that resolved a lot of major issues. There's the data breach article that GGG put out, and much more. I hope you all enjoy. What's going on, Exiles? This is the first one ever, so I'll do a little bit of explaining. Basically, I'm just going to be going over the top posts every week on the Path of Exile 2 subreddit. Some of you may not even want to go here. It's kind of a cesspool at times, but it's kind of a good vibe check on the community and how the game's going and things like that. Even though it is a lot of negativity, which we'll try to avoid as much as we can. But you know, like I said, it's good insight into how the game's going and how people are feeling, at least in the subsection of Reddit. Funnily enough, it's actually my cake day on Reddit today, literally my 1-year anniversary today. Totally not planned, I swear. Pretty funny. I made this Reddit account about a year ago, and then a month or two later, like literally next month, is my 1-year anniversary on YouTube, so pretty cool. But yeah, let's dive into some posts here. I can see already on the first one that we've got some great memes going on here. So we've got Elon's map stash tab, and it's only 420 coins, dude. That's perfect. So that'll be coming soon to the shop. I already renamed my tab Gav's Maps. I don't know about y'all. Elon dying at rank 7. Perseverance. Is this when he was in the German, like, political meeting or whatever Quinn was talking about? Like, is this literally when it happened? More Elon stuff. I mean, this is like the talk of the town right now. Like, Elon's just completely losing all of his gamer cred that he tried to build up over the years. Diablo 4 and Path of Exile grinders. Look how far I climbed and I'm not even tired. Literally, dude. That's perfect. We've got the Never Sync loot filter that was released, and Pretty Pog, the 0.1.1 patch that just came out, now has Xbox and just console filters that you can get if you subscribe to it on the website. So that's really, really cool. Definitely was needed for console players, but NeverSync has been hooking it up already in Path of Exile 2. Oh god, the Emperor, the Vaal Emperor. Do it. I did see this one literally like when it was posted and new this afternoon when I was scrolling Reddit. I guess it made it to the front page already. But yeah, this guy's got some really, really good RNG. But then there's 20 more pictures of just random landscaping that he's done. Like, I think it just literally posted like the first 20 pictures in his camera roll. And yeah, I mean, pretty lucky that it wasn't anything super incriminating or weird. We're not going to watch the full 3 minutes of this, but I just love the KEKW guy. Rip the KEKW guy. Like, he, just his laugh alone, man. Holy shit, that's epic. I want that. That's not a bad idea, but, I mean, you'll eventually, just through repetition, get to know these maps, and it's, you know, not a huge deal. But that would be kind of cool. They did add in this recent patch the biome for each one, so that's pretty nice. I saw this one too. In future Reddit recaps, I'm going to try and stay off Reddit as much as I can. Just to make sure that all of these are completely fresh. But yeah. Yeah, you're just mapping, you're killing everything, picking up exalts and divines while you're killing. Oh, the preview for the big patch. So what did you guys think about this patch that just came out? Had a lot of improvements for sure. I was a little bit skeptical about no nerfs, and they want to just bring everything up to the power level that it's already at, which is a little bit concerning as far as like the pacing of endgame goes, but we'll see. Really excited to get to maps on the character that I'm leveling, which is a Chalupa monk right now, so that'll be a little bit of a surprise when I get to maps and I'm able to showcase that and everything for y'all. But overall, pretty good patch. The one thing that really stood out to me was just how underwhelming the uniques are. Like, I scrolled through the uniques yesterday on PoE2 DB just to see if there was any build around uniques to come up with a new build, and there really wasn't outside of what's already been done. So the buffs that they gave them, which were kind of nerfs in some cases, weren't that impressive. And the uniques overall right now are just pretty underwhelming, I would say, compared to PoE 1. There's like the standout ones, obviously, like Hawa and other things, but this person's a little bit upset about how hard it is to find a single node on the tree when you type it in, which I kind of agree with. Like, they could put like a huge ring around it rather than just highlighting it when the Vaal does nothing. Yeah, that kind of sucks, but at least it's not bricked, right? That's literally the title. Yeah, at least it's not bricked. There's the entirety of the patch notes, which I will have linked in the description of this video for sure. That's the major event that just took place this week. This guy did the math on how many slaves it would take to pull the Ardura caravan. Looking at the 90 slaves pulling the caravan, the average person has a pulling weight of about 100 pounds. These are not healthy slaves, so factor that in. As well, 90,000... Wait. This caravan has to weigh over 45 tons. Also, the slaves are not being punished or whipped, so no motivation to keep moving forward. The wheels alone have to be at least 3 tons. Yeah, they just got mad strength. They're strength stacking. Yeah. This was a very weird, but I love the aesthetic of what they're going for here, and just the harshness of the Marikath. I'm pretty sure the Marikath are just the baddies compared to the Ferrodin. I don't know. What do you guys think? This post is a little bit upset about how expensive omens are, like Omen of Whittling and things like that, which they made a lot more common, like 60% more common or something in rituals. Still a little bit weird that most of the determinism is locked behind a single league, like ritual, but I'm sure it'll get better as they add more leagues. We'll get more diversity and more determinism, hopefully. But yeah, crafting's in a really weird state right now, for sure. The Executioner. Yeah, this is just cinema, pure cinema right here. Her screams give me chills every time. Yeah. Pretty blood-curdling for sure. The guillotine drops. Holy shit. That is a lot of essence mods. But to me, I just one-shot like almost every essence like mob on my characters. It just depends on what I'm on, but yeah, I've never really had any issues with essences compared to like how scary they could be in PoE 1. And I think they even nerfed them a little bit this patch. I'd have to go back and see, but pretty sure that their attacks and everything are delayed when you first bring them out, so that it's not like instantaneous and you can't get like insta-killed. Dude, some of the photoshopping and memes on this, dude, this is beautiful. I still have yet to divine an item in Path of Exile 2. Have you guys used a divine yet? Like, I just use them, like, I'm in trade league, so I just use them to buy. Hey, it's Talkative Try. A good buddy. Oh, wow. Wow. The patch preview was number 9 on trending across all of YouTube. Yeah. And within 18 hours, it had over 500,000 views. That is just insane. That's just for a patch preview. Like, it's a pretty big patch because it's, you know, a lot of people have been waiting on it for over a month now for the holidays, but geez. Just the scope, like the pure scope of the Path of Exile 2 community now is insane. Uh-oh. Trying to get my 4th Ascendancy on my SSF Titan when this happens. He's doing fine. Oh. Disconnect. Straight to desktop. Yeah, you can't outskill that. I even on my high-end PC, like, I'm getting disconnected randomly as well. Like, it's really annoying, especially, like, it's mostly when entering an instance, so luckily most of them are salvageable, but it's still just really annoying. I know they're working on it. I bought a +5 projectile bow and twin quiver, yeah, just slurping that mana. What is this? I finally beat Cruel with my off-meta build. He's just punching. This is 4 minutes long. Oh my god. Dude, he's doing some damage with just punch. That is hilarious. This guy beat the game. We're not gonna watch all 4 minutes. Let's skip forward a little bit. Dude, yeah, he's just punching. Take that, Doriani. He did it. He fucking did it. Oh, that's super pog. PoB2 releasing tomorrow, so that'll be January 17th. That's amazing. I can't wait to tinker in that, especially for my new build. I'm gonna need it to make a good chunk. Thank you so much, Local Identity. Like, this guy does so much work. And it's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Local Identity. From me and all of the community, thank you so much. Today's the day. So this was like a week ago when Filterblade was finally updated. Never Sink. The man, the myth, the legend. Hooking everyone up in Path of Exile 2 with amazing filters. Armor's fixed. This was from the patch. They buffed armor by 15%. And the meme is basically that 15% times 0 is still 0. Armor needs a lot of love. This is the scene from Inglourious Bastards where he's undercover as a German soldier, right? And this guy totally knows. Yeah, Elon pretty much exposed himself that entire stream, and the subsequent stream that happened more recently. He's just not good at the game. There's no way. Holy shit. That's an insane adorned. Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. What type of architecture is this? Like, I know GGG has like heavy Aztec and other like vibes going on, but that's really cool. A few days ago, before console had filters, dude, my lord. There's no way. A 15 breach map on console. Nice nips, bro. Two kinds of players. There's one that keeps everything that they're keeping in their inventory on the left, and one that keeps it on the right. I'm definitely a left kind of guy as far as my inventory goes. It's where I keep my maps that I'm running and stuff. What about you guys? Oh, he killed the King of the Mist and died at the end, and Ingenuity dropped. I'd be done for the day. Oh my god. The Prowling Shade. Yeah, nobody's a fan of the Prowling Shades. Superior Advanced Elite Great Helm. Oh wow. A perfect Black Sun Crest. That's crazy. Stat stacking is like off the rails right now. Average most patient PoE2 player. Dude, that is the ugliest fish I've ever seen. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Thanks. That's true. I doubt the glass cannon meta is what GGG intended for PoE2. Let's take a look at this. I fought the Arbiter for the first time a couple of days ago, had invested quite a bit into my Stormweaver Spark build, and made what I thought were a balanced approach to the build with 7k ES, with a bunch of recharge rate and speed, and 5k mana with 1k mana regen. But I still get one-shotted 10 seconds into the fight when he casts Solar Storm, and I didn't react in time. After that, I decided to respec into a little more damage. I decided to drop Everlasting Gaze Amulet for a plus level amulet, and removed all defense nodes on my tree and invested it all into damage and crit. As a result, I now beat every endgame boss in seconds on any difficulty, and the craziest part is that my survivability in maps is actually better as well, since I kill a lot of things faster. I thought PoE2 was going to be a slower and more methodical game. I did too, where you're rewarded for making a balanced character, but then they add unmitigatable one-shot mechanics to boss fights that forces you into going glass cannon, since defenses all of a sudden are useless anyway. I mean, he's dying to a telegraphed attack. Like, I completely agree that telegraphed attacks should be one-shots. Like, that's fine. Learn the fight. We have more portals now. This was 5 days ago, so with the latest patch, we have more portals to try it, learn the fight, and get good. But I completely agree with the glass cannon meta and the fact that just killing the boss in 10 seconds is way better than fighting it for the intended 1 to 3 minutes. So, a little bit of a weird situation and dichotomy right now in endgame. Don't get me wrong, I love this game, but investing in defense feels terrible. If they're going to be useless against boss one-shot, see again, like, that's fine. I honestly think that unmitigatable one-shot mechanics shouldn't be in the game. That's an opinion. They're cheap design-wise, and they force people into playing glass cannon builds. Yeah, I mean, there's just more options in PoE1 for their argument here, so there's just a lot more options in PoE1 to actually layer your defense, whereas they removed a lot of defenses from the tree this time around. We're missing half the weapon sets, half the skills, half the ascendancies. So it's definitely kind of a feels weird, man, right now, but it'll get better, I think. But yeah, I would prefer the more slowed down methodical gameplay that they had intended, and that acts 1 to 3 kind of gets you geared up for and ready for. But then Cruel and Endgame is basically just kind of a Path of Exile 1-esque feeling for me. What do you guys think? I mean, the top comment here pretty much says that, yeah, damage scales exponentially while defenses did not. So, I mean, that's the core issue. There's just not enough diversity of defenses to actually try and survive these one-shots, which I don't think you should be doing anyway. You should just get out of the way or learn the mechanic. It's still better and more of a guarantee killing the boss if you just stun / freeze / electrocute / whatever and kill them in 10 seconds than it is to actually fight the boss. Yeah, glass cannon is the best solution, especially with one portal. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot more portals now for each boss, and it just decreases with the difficulty levels, so you should be learning them as you complete them. But yeah, we'll see how this shakes out more over the course of EA. This was a good post. I mean, this guy has his opinions for sure. Definitely can see the disgruntlement of, you know, going in with a balanced build and just getting owned before you can do anything. But we'll definitely see how GGG approaches this and what their actual vision for the endgame is. Jonathan seemed all for the current power fantasy, so I don't know. Just do it. Vaal it. We'll look through a few more before we end off this week's Reddit recap here. This might be the funniest thing I've identified as a high-level character. I just saw one of these the other day too. I mean, pretty good for leveling. It's basically like an Astramentus on your head until you get to Astramentus. I mean, it's not terrible for leveling. It's like a baby Astramentus until you actually get to the level 33 or whatever Astramentus requires, if that's what you're going for. Good for like early game stat stacking. I mean, this is a Pillar of the Caged God helmet if I've ever seen one, right? Dude, I should be leveling my chonk with this in Pillar of the Caged God. How I sleep knowing GGG's about to nuke my build. Yeah, I mean, he's probably still sleeping pretty soundly because there was next to no nerfs in this patch. So we'll definitely see what happens when they come out with new content and do a full new league and economy reset and things like that. That's when I think the majority of the changes and nukes to builds and things like that will be going on. Yeah, the past few days were pretty rough waiting for the patch notes. But the patch is pretty glorious, I have to say. What is this? The blue chew. Oh my god, it's that's hilarious. Hardest elite I've ever fought, yeah. That's hilarious. GGG, we need an auction house. I'm tired. Yeah, I mean, if they could figure out a way to implement it, if they could figure out a way to do Last Epoch's trading system, but better, I mean, I'm sure everybody would be for it. Trading right now is just really weird. Yeah. I mean, I'm familiar with it. I know all the etiquette. I know how to search the trade site and things like that from Path of Exile 1. So I'm probably better off than most, but yeah, it's still just awkward. And like, it's a huge ask for a new player to just open up their browser and try and find something they want. Compared to an in-game auction house or something. Dude, people are going crazy with the Vaal orb. Oh yeah, the data breach. Yeah, definitely. We're not going to read this right now, but essentially an admin account that was tied to a Steam account, an old Steam account, was compromised via Steam support. So someone got a hold of it, and then over winter break, they just wreaked havoc on like 60 plus accounts, probably more before the logs were actually catching it. I'll link this in the description as well. This is a pretty important read if you guys are interested, or if you were one of the few that got hacked. Unfortunately, I feel bad for you. But luckily, this is early access. Everything's going to be wiped in a month or two anyway, so. But still, it doesn't make it any better. What's the most you ever lost on a Vaal orb? I'm really happy that Vaal orbs don't brick uniques now. Like, I Vaal almost every unique now. Like, that's worth Vaaling. You just socket it up and Vaal it and pray. There's some really cool results. Yeah, people are dropping daggers and spears and all kinds of stuff, especially in the Trial of Chaos off the Trial Master. But yeah, daggers look awesome. No fizz damage, freezes enemies that are on full life. So, every enemy that you touch, basically. That's cool. Really, really excited for daggers and swords and other things like that to play around with. All item drops are converted to gold. That's a buff. Yeah, that's bad. Nobody wants that. You could miss out on literally what this guy got, a mirror. It could just turn a mirror into gold with that shrine. Pretty sure you can just right-click the shrine buffs and get rid of them. Wow. I still, over a couple thousand hours in Path of Exile 1, and coming up on 500 hours in Path of Exile 2, never seen a mirror. They're extremely rare. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime drop. I find it strange that I can't salvage quality flasks like I can other gear. Well, 7 days ago, luckily, after this latest patch, you now can. So hold on to your quality flasks and break those down. Why is breaking the game acceptable when done offensively but not defensively? Let's end off on this post and see what they have to say and see what the comments say. In yesterday's GGG video, they stated that pinnacle bosses should typically take around 1 to 3 minutes to kill. Yeah, that's their like desired time to kill. But with an insane amount of investment, it should be possible to one-shot them. However, there are numerous boss abilities in the game that are literally impossible to tank, no matter how much you invest in your tree or gear. Even going completely ZDPS where fights would take 30 plus minutes, it's simply impossible from a numbers perspective. Many players who advocate for extreme power fantasy and ARPGs argue against Souls-like pacing in the endgame because you're supposed to feel like a god, which I find reasonable. However, in Elden Ring, and that's already a semi-bad comparison, it's entirely possible to do an all-hit run where you don't dodge or block any enemy attacks and face tank every single hit run. And face tank every single hit, including insane boss attacks. The defensive power fantasy in ARPG is massively behind Souls-like games. Yeah, kind of for good reason. I mean, you don't want to be immortal. They don't want to allow you to be immortal. Personally, I'm not advocating for something as extreme. What I'd like to see is the ability to face tank the most insane boss hit. Even if I could only do it a couple times per fight, as I'd run out of flasks to sustain HP. I'm talking about it being sort of a massive milestone you could reach after 300 plus hours of investment. The typical argument against face tanking a boss is that it could lead to a low risk or even no risk clears, but this isn't one-shotting them essentially the same. Oh, but isn't one-shotting them essentially the same thing or even way worse? Am I missing something? yeah, I mean, fair argument for sure. I don't agree that you can compare Path of Exile 2 to Souls-like games, even though that's kind of what it was compared to early on. But with infinite dodge rolls, no stamina bar, like so many other things that completely differentiate it from that genre, I don't think it's a great comparison, but I do agree that the combat is similar for sure, especially in the early acts. And yeah, I mean, if somebody wanted to just be a brick wall compared to a glass cannon, and like, they should be able to do that. They shouldn't be invincible. There should be downsides. But yeah, I think, again, this comes down to missing over half of the shit in the game right now, like skills, weapons, classes, all of that. I think it'll get better. But I do agree that, you know, this is pretty much along the same lines of the post that we read earlier, where, you know, just the glass cannon is the way to go right now. Killing the boss before they can even touch you is just the way to go right now. Getting one-shotted as a overpowered Sork is fine, glass cannon is super fun, being one-shotted as a super tank is unplayable. Yeah, I mean, you're sacrificing almost all of your offensive capabilities to be a tank. And the fact that you can just get one-shots still, yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? What's your take on this kind of argument versus the ability to build defensively versus just glass cannon as it is right now? In PoE 1, you could absolutely build a character so tanky that you can face tank everything. It typically requires massive investment, much higher than a glass cannon build that can one-shot bosses, but at least it was possible. So I don't think the devs are fundamentally against it. It seems more like a defensive layer balancing issue. I guess the thinking was that they want you to do boss mechanics, but like you said, one-shotting bosses gets around that equally as well. Yeah, this guy's got it. So, just like in PoE 1, I think it's just going to take some time and balancing and implementation of everything that we're missing to actually feel like this is possible. Right now, just the scaling of exponential offensiveness is completely above and beyond what you can do defensively right now. So, yeah, we'll see where it goes, but that's going to be the end of this Reddit recap. If you guys enjoyed this little insight without having to delve into the depths of Reddit yourself, definitely subscribe to the channel, as I'll be doing this every single week. I'm also a kind of a hipster build creator, looking for things that are untouched or just unknown and just testing those out. So definitely subscribe if that's something that you're into. I do build overviews when I do come up with something halfway decent, or, you know, even failures that didn't go where I wanted them to go, but the concept could be cool for someone else. So really just looking to pump out all of the Path of Exile 2 content that I can. I'm absolutely in love with this game, and I thought that this would be a cool series to do every week, just as part of my documentation of the game and kind of the state and the vibe of the community every week. So thank you all for hanging out. Hopefully some of the memes were hilarious to you. Hopefully some of this debate regarding the glass cannon and defensiveness of characters right now was interesting. And we'll check in next week and see what's going on. I plan to record these every single Thursday night and then have them uploaded for Friday. So I will catch you all soon, Exiles. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the new endgame that's just been released, and I will see you in the next one. Farewell.